okay, it's not.
Now you just want to talk
Well,
about
it
Time
could maybe
Cop.
be rebooted. Okay, but Jean-Claude Van Damme, maybe not a sequel, but it's more. He has another role as the elderly time cop who comes in there to school these new young time cops, which would be Channing Tatum, of course, and then and then we spark a whole franchise.
No.
There it is. Time Cop needs to be rebooted.
That's not
I think
true.
we've solved that problem
Okay.
right there. All right, I'll write the script for that. I'll have that up there. Okay.
Take you 5 minutes.
Yep, it's done. $1 million.
Improvise.
All right, I think we're coming in live right now. So hello, everyone, tuning in. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about entertainment and movies and television.
And Time Cop.
And we'll explain why here in just a second. So we got a ton of things that we're going to be getting to today. We're going to go over the weekend box office. We've got some comic book movie news, some actually really cool news that's coming out, and a ton of other things to get to. But we are live on Facebook and YouTube right now. So if you're able to join us for that and you're watching, we want to hear your comments and your questions, anything you want to bring up while we're going live through here. One of the questions we proposed was, since there are so many reboots and remakes that are getting made, what movie from the 80s and 90s do you think should be rebooted? So that was kind of our question we're bringing. By the way, I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
Forgot about that part. So
It doesn't matter.
So we were thinking about it, and Ryan over here is, of course, a negative Nancy, and he is not wanting to have any of these rebooted.
No, I am sick of the reboots. I think we all are. Although
Yeah.
people just keep going to see them anyway. I'm done with it.
You're done with the reboots
I'm
altogether.
over the reboots. Like, just stop. Just stop it.
I mean,
everybody stop
I
it.
don't think you can stop it. I think at the best,
No,
you
it'll
can,
never stop,
I think
but
at best you can attempt to
If I get a
control it.
vote, then I would say just stop it.
That's where you would be.
Yeah,
Well,
I would put down, a federal regulation. No longer will a movie be rebooted.
Okay.
Only original films will be made.
I'm going to say there's a lot of people coming in on chat who are very much in your corner.
Yeah.
So Brandon says none of them. Make something new for a change.
There you go.
That's a Team Ryan right
We
there.
had a whole article about this. There were Reddit writing prompts, and there were 10 that our guy Adam Polchuk wrote about. They were all great ideas. Why doesn't Hollywood make new ideas? They're afraid.
Okay,
They're
that's
wussies.
it. Oh, they're calling everybody out. Calling out Hollywood.
Well, come on. I mean, they know what they're doing, and they're trying to make money, and they're trying to just any kind of story. If they can
Yeah.
sell the property first, they'll do it. It doesn't even have to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
The Total Recall reboot didn't even go to Mars. It's just a money grab.
A couple other comments coming in. So John says, also, why don't they come up with something new for a change? So that's everybody's saying that. Jeffrey says, short circuit, but today's robots would probably make it creepy. I don't
That's not
know.
a bad idea.
Maybe. I mean, short circuit is pretty dang good.
It's a zany comedy, but
Johnny
I don't think
Five is alive.
It probably wouldn't be that way. If they remade it, it would be like all serious and about
More
like,
input.
questions about AI and
Jake
consciousness.
Jake also says remakes are lame sauce. Story world reboots are fine as long as it's a fresh plot, like Rogue
I agree
One.
with that. And then, there are some exceptions. Like the new King Kong one seems to be cool, and that's, I don't know.
Well, King Kong's one of
It's
those
sort of
things
like a
you could
classic
always-
story, so
yeah.
it's like, but when you're rebooting just like a movie like Roadhouse, which I wrote an article about, which Ronda Rousey was supposed to star in, and they keep kicking it down the line. I wonder why, because
Yeah.
it sounded like such a great idea.
No, that's a terrible idea. You can't do that.
Oh, my God.
Rick on YouTube says Valerian is Time Cop. I'm looking forward to that, so maybe
okay.
maybe that is. All right. Either
Well,
way,
what do you know? Our
that's
Time
my
Cop thing
pitch.
has come full circle.
that's my pitch, an
thought
elderly.
you said something else.
An older, no, and not
Your
Valerian.
pitch.
No, my
with a P.
My pitch.
Okay, I thought Time Cop was something else.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. Okay.
Okay, let's
All
go.
right, we're getting off course. And Chris in the chat says The Notebook needs to be rebooted already.
That's
So
true.
there we go. That's
As an
that's
action
absolutely
thriller.
true.
As an action
All
thriller.
right. Well, we want your comments to keep on coming through here, too. So let us know what you think should be rebooted from the 80s and 90s. But let's get to the box office, the weekend box office. What movies are coming out this weekend that you can go see, or maybe you've already seen them if you went and saw it yesterday. And the top one, the big one that's getting all the press right now,
Is a reboot.
Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, the
Yeah.
live action version of Beauty and the Beast. Ryan, have you gotten to see this yet?
No, I'm not going to go see
You're
it.
not going to go see it. Ryan's not going to go see it.
I might watch the original again, the cartoon.
Yeah.
was
But you're not going to do this.
I was thinking I'd like to check that out again.
Well, so far the reviews coming in right now, 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe is what it is. 69, 67%. I think it's kind of bouncing around there.
Everything I've read is like, yeah, this didn't really need to happen, but it's okay.
There it is.
There's 3 new songs, so there's that.
Yeah. So
that's about it. That's pretty much the critics' consensus.
is it really just like a spot by spot remake, pretty much of the
It's
cartoon?
very close. I mean, there's differences, of course, but it's very close. It has all the same songs, and then they added 3 more songs from the original composer.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. Tales
For
Old as
anybody
Time.
who didn't know. That's
And yeah, and this movie is okay. Like I thought it was going to be big, and like the trailer was huge, but it's now on track for the biggest opening in March of all time.
Really?
which
Of
was
anything?
first set by Batman versus Superman. So
Wow.
it's on track to beat that movie, which made $1 billion. It had a $17 million Thursday opening, which is huge for a Thursday opening.
Okay.
So yeah,
I mean, I guess it's the
4,200
antithesis of anything else that's
It's
out
in
there right now.
4,200 theaters, dude. It's like
crazy.
I didn't know there were that many theaters.
Wow.
So
okay.
yeah.
Well, there we go.
It's in so many theaters that our writer couldn't find a place to watch Trainspotting in his area, Rick Marshall.
because Beauty and the Beast
because
took up
it
all
was
of the...
Beauty and the Beast and Kong.
Well, all right. I
So-
guess they know what they're doing. So
Yeah.
just write them a check. Write Disney another check. So Beauty and the Beast.
But
that is
speaking
out
of
this weekend.
Trainspotting, that's
Yeah.
another one that's not a reboot. It's a sequel that's coming way back from a film that was made 20 years ago that a lot of us watched. It was kind of a seminal film at its time. It was really
Trainspotting, yeah.
different than anything we'd seen before from Danny Boyle, who went on to do a lot of other big things. And he came back for this movie. The original cast came back for this movie. Also, a question on this one: why? You know, that was another one where like, why? Trainspotting seemed like such a
It's a one-time movie.
slice, a one slice.
Yeah,
movie,
you don't
know?
need to have.
It just seems odd. The reviews are coming in, and they're pretty okay. This one's around 75%, and it's a 6.8 average. Not terrible.
It's like 20 years later, surprise, they're back on heroin again. I mean, what is the
well, from what I've read,
the theme of this?
I've read a couple
or
of
it's a
different
bunch of old
ones.
junkies. I mean, I don't know where you
Yeah,
you know.
So the Rotten Tomatoes, like their sort of amalgamated review is adds an intoxicating, emotionally resonant postscript to its classic predecessor. And then I went to see like what the bad reviews were, and the NPR's Scott Tobias says it never comes up with a coherent answer for why it exists, and that's just exactly what I thought when I saw it. And another few reviews I've read just says stuff like, you know, there's no emotional growth here. There's no like. I guess it just kind of downs on
just
growing
there.
up. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, you like the first one, you'll love this one. Okay.
Pretty much. That's exactly what it is.
All right, Trainspotting 2. We have a couple more movies that are coming out here this weekend as well. Just to go back to the live chat on Facebook for movies from the 80s, 90s that we think, or that maybe you think should get a reboot. Regina says Pretty Woman. Mauricio Ruiz says
Pretty Woman.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off and The Breakfast Club should get reboots.
Okay, so these
Ryan's
are such,
going to say no. Ryan's not going to like you already.
These are such interesting ideas because who do you think is going to beat them at those roles? Like, who do you think is going to do better than the actors that play those original roles? I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to outdo Matthew Broderick at Ferris Bueller? Nobody.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe a younger version of it. Maybe it's too old
But
for some
he's
people.
great. That's why people love it. Why would you want
I
to
agree.
stomp all
I
over
agree
that
with you.
idea? I just don't understand.
All right, so Ryan says no.
Sorry. Put the
That's the new
kibosh.
name of this show.
Put
Ryan
the
says no.
kibosh on that.
All right, let's get on to a couple
All
of
right.
more movies that are coming out this weekend because we do have some horror movies
Yeah.
that are out. So definitely the antithesis of Beauty and the Beast. And this first one is The Belko Experiment.
Yeah.
Which, if you've seen the trailer for it, it's already unnerving to me. And essentially, it's a group of 80 Americans who work in this corporate office in Colombia. And all of a sudden, it's locked down. This is all in the trailer. It's locked down, like steel gates come up and walls. So everybody's locked in there. And then this voice comes over the intercom system and starts directing them. Like, if you, they give them a bunch of weapons and
They say, like, the first one is if you don't kill 3 people, we'll kill 6.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is a joke. And then somebody's head explodes.
Of course, yeah.
And they figure out that all of them are embedded with little explosives in their brain or their nerve stem or something.
See,
and it looks really like interesting. It's just, it's like psychological thriller, so it could be cool, but it's not getting great reviews.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
also from writer producer James Gunn,
Yeah.
of Guardians of the Galaxy fame.
Which we have some more news on Guardians of the Galaxy coming up here in just a minute too.
But I thought it looks cool. It's just
It looks cool. It looks kind of like The Purge to me. It gives me that
Yeah.
kind of a vibe where I watched The Purge, but I feel really bad about myself for watching it afterward. Like I'm not happy I did it, but I do it anyway.
Yeah.
So
It looks pretty
It's probably what's going to
intense.
happen with this one. I'm not going to be happy with myself.
Well, and for what we've read, it just sort of has a cool premise, but doesn't quite expound upon it
Yeah.
like they could have, I guess. So.
All right.
But
so
the one best reviewed movie we're getting this week is The Devil's Candy.
what is The Devil's Candy about?
So this is sort of about Satan, but it's about you hear in the trailer they just keep talking about how Satan is real, but he works through humans and he creates the evil. And we've heard that story before, but the way it's sort of presented looks very chilling and sort of original. It's getting pretty good reviews. It's like in the 90% range right now, and it's sort of a rather unknown filmmaker in Sean Byrne, I guess, and it's sort of a no-name cast. Although a lot of people will recognize Pruitt Taylor Vince, who plays the evil dude in this. He kind of plays the evil dude in a lot of things.
Typecast, he's the devil guy.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. You'll recognize his face when you saw him. He's done everything from, I think he was in some episodes of Deadwood. He's been all over the place, but he usually plays some kind of a deviant.
Okay.
Who's in Mississippi Burning as like a redneck. He's sort of typecast, but he's a pretty good actor.
You look like you're broken inside.
Let's
evil.
Cast you here. Yeah, and he's the evil guy in this. But it's pretty interesting.
All right, so The Devil's Candy getting the best reviews. Those are kind of the biggest movies that are out this weekend.
But good luck finding it. It's going to be Beauty and the Beast and Kong everywhere you look.
Apparently that's all you're allowed to see is Beauty and the Beast. All right, and keep those comments coming about anything that we're talking about here, and also the what movie from the 80s and 90s do you think should get a reboot? Just to update it a couple more, CR says The Last Starfighter. That might work.
The best idea I've heard so far.
Okay,
now
wow.
That is a fantastic movie,
from Ryan.
And they didn't really have the effects to do it when they did it, but it's a great idea. That would be a great movie.
And Costas says Dune, which actually is going to
that
be
is
getting
in reboot now, so we didn't really pull that one out. But that was the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah,
Dune could be done better. So,
and it is going to get that.
Yeah, exactly.
So. All right. Well, we did say some Guardians of the Galaxy news, so we've got some comic book movie news. Actually, several different things that are
so
in
much
the works.
Stuff.
First, though, James
surprising no one.
Yeah, surprising no one. James Gunn has confirmed that there will be a Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Surprising no one.
Yeah, surprising no one. So Guardians of the Galaxy 3, he said that, even in this article that I read, it said shocking few, director James Gunn has confirmed. He said there will be a Guardians 3, that's for sure. And we're trying to figure it out. He's trying to figure out whether he's going to be a part of it or not, or whether they're going to do it separate without him. And it sounds like he's going to decide pretty soon.
It sounds to me like he's going to
pass it off,
and that's sort of been the MO these days. Is you do one, maybe two, and then you pass it off. You sign on as an EP or a producer, and
then you just
move on to the next thing.
Check
because these movies take 2 or 3 years sometimes to develop, and people are like, okay, am I just going to be the next 15 years of my life? It's just Guardians of the Galaxy, So I understand that. One of the interesting things I saw that came out of this was he was talking about Guardians' role in the Avengers. I thought that was kind of telling. We didn't really know how big of a part they'd play, but basically what he said is they're going to have an integral role, but it's not going to be a mainstream role. I think they're just going to kind of
like a cameo kind of thing.
Yeah, or peek in and out of it a little bit. It's going to be more of an Avengers movie, so that's interesting. And you kind of had to wonder about that because what did we say? There were like 58 available characters or something that they could use.
I mean, who doesn't want to see Star-Lord and Iron Man in the same scene?
That would be cool.
I want to see those two interact with each other.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, the little wit bouncing back and forth. That would be fun.
Yeah. So there we go. Guardians of the Galaxy news. Continuing on, we've got some other comic book news. Real quick, Corby on Facebook, Maximum Overdrive getting a reboot. I was thinking of that same thing. Who made who? That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
That was one of my favorite flicks when I was a kid. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. But it's so true.
When the soda machine kills the guy?
Yeah. What? All right, so more news we found out this week. Well, actually not necessarily news, but we got another trailer for Wonder Woman, which to me seems like it's going to be the best DC movie we've gotten so far. And the new trailer, it's even called a Wonder Woman origin trailer that came out. And they definitely are emphasizing this is an origin story.
Yeah.
So
you even get to see like baby Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
and
baby Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman. Yeah, as a child training on the island, which I always mess up how to say the island. Thrimisia. Somebody's going to correct me on that.
Asgard.
Themyscira. I can't say it correctly, but they can. So in the trailer, they kind of show Wonder Woman training with her aunt, who is Robin Wright. Which Robin Wright still looks great, and she's just getting better and better, I think, in her roles. I mean, I'm just talking about appearance.
I meant like,
well, both.
She's your style.
No, I'm just saying
That's
Robin
your
Wright.
lady.
She's great. She's a great actress. I love seeing her and stuff. And so it's her training Wonder Woman, and then Wonder Woman discovering her powers and not understanding how powerful she is, and then introducing Chris Pine and all of that.
More of the same. I feel like Chris Pine is, the more I see him in this movie, the better his character looks in this movie. So it again, no changes here. I think they need to stop giving away
Yeah.
Like, let's not have any more trailers. We've got 3
That's
huge
good enough.
trailers.
That's good enough.
Let's wait for the movie.
I think they're just excited that people are excited about it. So
Yeah.
oh, you want some more?
Yeah, no
anyway,
kidding.
there we go. So Wonder Woman. But along those lines with the DC movies, we do get another delay, and that is Aquaman getting bumped back a little bit this time. Bumped back a couple of months. It was going to be October 5th, 2018. Now December 18th, 2018. But instead, it looks like we are going to get a movie I didn't realize was going to happen.
I mean, we had talked about it.
Kind of, but
Yeah,
I didn't know they'd
thought
actually do it.
I thought we'd heard about it earlier, but Rick Marshall, our main movie guy, we were talking about it today, and basically, the last we heard about this movie was October.
Okay.
We talked about it on the podcast in November.
That maybe it would happen, yeah.
The Venom standalone film.
And Venom, for those of you who don't know, I mean, Venom was a character in the original Spider-Man 3 movie with, I don't know if original is the right word, but the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. Topher Grace played Venom. Venom is essentially, it's an alien symbiotic being.
Symbiote, they call it?
Symbiote, yeah, that it has to have a host, which is a human, and it latches onto the host and then gives the host powers, and they turn into this demonic-looking Spider-Man-ish kind of character. Venom's a great character, but Venom's also pretty much a villain. And
He's
they're talking
definitely a villain, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of, and I was reading up a little bit, and I didn't realize this, they kind of turned him into an anti-hero in some stuff.
Well, and it depends on who wields him, like how strong their force is or whatever, because the alien needs a host to create the powers.
Yeah, so this is a Venom, but they are going to launch this movie, so they gave it a release date of October 5th, 2018. They're looking to actually, or at least fall 2018, and they're looking to, it sounds like, turn it into a franchise. And
I think it's pretty definite on October 5th, because that's
bumping the date,
seemingly the reason that they bumped Aquaman. And the crazy thing about this is that it's I guess it's the 19th. Anyway, it's somewhere in October. Yeah. But the crazy thing about this is there's no director. We don't have a final script on this movie, and there's no cast that's been announced. Like, this is a movie without a home. They're just like, Venom's coming.
Year and a half, you're going to get a Venom movie.
Venom's going to happen, whether we like it or not.
And a possible whole franchise of Venom.
Yeah, well, and this also goes back, we should say, back to the former Sony chairman, Amy Pascal, who was pushed out over the whole Sony hack with all the email scandals. Yeah, because she was like really good at her job, but said some stuff over email, like I'm sure anyone has, and then she got kicked out of the office.
Don't get hacked.
2014 when this happened, but in that happened a little after that. But in 2014, they were talking about this whole thing where they were going to bring in the Sinister Six, they were going to bring in Venom. It was going to be this big spinoff because Sony, really their only superhero property is Spider-Man. And now they're working with Marvel and the MCU. They're bringing Spider-Man into that, of course. But Sony was planning on making a Spider-Man movie every year. Yeah. Just like Disney and with Star Wars and everything else. That's the new normal.
Well,
but that didn't happen, so now they're kind of getting back to basics, and the Venom movie is coming at us. Whether
Venom's going to be it.
It's going to be about, who's going to be in it, and who's going to direct it, no one knows.
Well, there we go. So Venom is getting the movie. I mean, I'm excited for it. We'll see what happens with it.
Could be cool.
Right, bouncing along here. We've got several different things we're going to be getting to here. We've got some Netflix news. We've got some news about American Gods, which if you're a Neil Gaiman fan, you want to definitely check that out. But before we get there, this was the topic of the day: reboots and remakes. And we still have comments coming in of people what their movie from the 80s and 90s they think should be rebooted. Aaron on Facebook says Highlander. For a possible
That's not
reboot.
bad either. Okay, these people are coming up with some decent ideas.
Maybe.
That's not that bad of an idea. If you look at the original Highlander, it's a great movie. Yeah. But it's so 80s-ified. Yeah. All the scenes with Sean Connery are fantastic when they're like back in time in the flashbacks. But all the 80s stuff is just it's
too much.
It's a lot. Yeah. It reminds me of. The Bruce Willis Sybil Shepherd TV show. What was that called?
Oh,
Moonlighting. Yeah, it's got the same vibe as that. Okay. It's like a lot of like saxophone and shoulder pads. All right. It's a little too 80s, so I could see that happening.
All right, well, we've got, so maybe the Highlander then. That might be a good idea.
That's not the worst
Let us know what you think, too. And if you're listening via podcast, you can always email podcast@digitaltrends.com or leave a comment on wherever you find the show. But we do have this confirmed, pretty much confirmed, that
it's coming. And this is the one that got me so angry. This is why I'm a negative Nancy today.
This is why he's negative Nancy.
I mean, it's always a different
Ryan
reason,
says no.
But this is the reason for today.
Warner Brothers has confirmed that they are in the early stages of developing a relaunch of The Matrix. Yes, The Matrix. Keanu Reeves, The Matrix. The 3 movies. Admittedly, the last one wasn't very good, but still, the 3 movies, the Matrix trilogy, that were such a seminal part of pop culture. I mean, The Matrix was huge.
The first movie changed action filmmaking.
Oh yeah,
forever.
The slow motion dodging the bullets thing.
This is why they come up with the word groundbreaking. I mean,
Yeah.
it really was. Everything about it was different. No one had seen anything quite like it before, and it spawned, dozens and dozens of imitations, and that is inherently, for me, the problem with this idea. They're talking about Michael B. Jordan for the lead. I really like him.
I like him
I think
too.
he proved his mettle in Creed, if not before that he's a great actor. But
he's a good actor. That doesn't mean he should have
the problem here is this is so I have a couple problems. One is that this is not a really original story, okay? Like, the idea that reality isn't real, that's happened before. I mean, the way that it was portrayed is really cool. But at its core, this is just a messianic story, right?
Yeah.
Guy doesn't know he has powers. Guy gets his powers. Guy gets the girl, and guy saves the world. I mean, how many times have we heard that? That's from the New Testament on. That we've heard that story a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
But so there's nothing super original there. The way that they portrayed it, we're all living in an alternate reality. That's fairly original. But other than that, what made this movie work is the cinematography and the choreography of the action. It lives and breathes off that. So how are you going to redo that? You're going to re-groundbreak with a whole new way of shooting this? You're going to create a cooler thing than stopping the bullets in midair, a cooler thing than dodging the bullets in slow-mo?
Well, and as Chris says in the chat, it could be great or so bad. And the secret is out. Yeah, we already know the story of the Matrix. Like, that was the whole thing. It's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
We
What is
get
the
it.
Matrix? That's what made it so cool.
We get it. Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't think it's necessary. I think you could do something else with an alternative reality kind of movie, a whole different franchise, but I don't know about rebooting The Matrix. I just don't think it needs rebooted.
I mean,
agree
or
with you.
prequels. Wouldn't that be a better idea? Why reboot it?
Yeah. Oh, prequel. Now, that's not a bad idea. About the creation of The Matrix?
Sure.
Okay, I could see that.
I mean, that's something.
Where the robots start
I still
taking
don't
over
think that's
and
really
saving humans?
necessary, but why not do that than a reboot? And maybe that's what they're looking at. Who knows?
And that's why we brought up this question. We've got a couple of other reboots that we're going to bring up to you, but as you're coming through here with your comments, Bruce says Airplane or Hot Shots for comedies to be remade. Hot Shots, maybe. I guess.
Yes. I mean,
Hot Shots Part 2.
What makes comedies work is, the writing, the wit of the writing, and the chemistry of the actors. So that's pretty fluid.
See, you've got No Way Out with Kevin Costner. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I like Kevin Costner, but I'm not familiar with No Way Out.
No idea. I think the mailman is a better.
Todd will need The Postman.
Or The Postman.
I like The Postman. I like Waterworld too. Though.
I mean, they're not great movies, but they're entertaining. I'll give you that.
Entertaining. Oh yeah.
I'll give you that.
All right. So the other one that's going to get a reboot is, and I guess this is in the works. It's a reboot of a reboot, which I didn't even realize the original was a remake.
Yeah.
It's The Fly. The Fly. Jeff Goldblum. The Fly. The '80s movie. I think it was in '86, I think is what I wrote it down as.
Yeah.
In the '80s, and that was actually a remake of a 1958 film, which was based on a short story from Playboy in 1957.
And if you haven't seen the 1958 film, most of us have seen The Fly, the '80s one, and it's weird. And it's David Cronenberg.
It's cheesy.
It's so strange and it's gross and all those things that you love about Cronenberg, but. What's interesting to me is I watched the 1958 film. Mm-hmm. It's almost more disturbing.
Yeah.
Especially the end. I don't want to give anything away, but man, it is messed up.
Does it get stepped on?
It's messed up.
Okay.
Dude. But yeah, this is another movie. It really does not need a reboot. I get why they're doing it, but I mean, what made the 80s movie so great was Jeff Goldblum, his weirdness, playing off David Cronenberg's weirdness. It just mixed into this crazy stew of strange that became a cult classic. I think it did pretty well in the theaters too. Well, I just don't see any reason for this. I don't see how you're going to make any fans of The Fly happy with this. I don't know.
# Ryan says no.
Exactly. I do say no.
All right, a couple other possible remakes coming through. We've got 4K Atmos. I'm not sure. Is that referencing something else? I'm not sure what that's referencing.
I know what he's referencing.
Okay,
he's
I was
saying
gonna say
The
that's
Matrix in 4K with Atmos would be cool.
Gotcha.
And I get that, but still.
Okay. He says The Goonies. I don't know if The Goonies needs a remake either.
Absolutely not.
And Jay says Howard the Duck. I'm on board with that. I am 100% on board
I never
with the Howard
liked
the
that
Duck
movie.
remake.
I never liked that movie.
Oh, yeah.
So many people love that movie.
And I'm looking over here on YouTube as well, so let us know what ones
I
you
never
think should be
understood
rebooted.
that.
All right, well, something else new. So this is
Okay.
what I was referencing
Moving
for
on.
Neil Gaiman fans. And it's not The Sandman, which I believe that's still possibly in the works, but this is a different one of his graphic novels, and it's American Gods is getting its own series. We've known this for a little bit, but now we're
You've been
finding
jazzed
out
about
more.
this forever.
I just think it's really.
I'm
it
really
can go one
excited
of two
about it,
ways,
too.
but I think it could be really good. And we've got the trailer for it now, or at least this newer trailer for American Gods. It's going to be on Stars, and the cast is really good. Ian McShane, Al Swearingen from Deadwood is pretty much the lead, along with Ricky Whittle, and I'm not as familiar with him. He's kind of the main character, but Ricky Whittle, Ian McShane, Gillian Anderson, Kristen Chenoweth,
Yeah, Gillian
Emily
Anderson,
Browning,
that's amazing.
Pablo Schreiber, Crispin Glover, Orlando Jones. Like, it's just tons.
Yeah,
of
Crispin
things.
Glover. I saw that too. I didn't realize he was in it either.
And that's just part of the cast. So the basic premise of what American Gods is it takes place as though old gods, it's old gods versus new gods.
Right.
So the old gods are like Odin or old Egyptian gods, African gods, Slavic gods, Norse gods, all the legendary like mythology. They're actual people living in the real world, but they're also gods, so they blend in. They're fighting the new gods, which is essentially money, technology, media, the things that people worship now. And so it's new gods versus old gods.
And what the idea is what we believe in, what we put our worship
faith
or our
into,
faith
yeah.
into is what gives them power.
Technology,
Right.
media, it makes sense as far as if you go along with this.
A little bit of metaphor going on here,
a
I
lot
believe.
a lot of metaphor, heavy on the metaphor, heavy on the violence in the trailer.
Yeah, it was.
Looks really
Sledgehammer,
violent.
bloody sledgehammer is
Oh,
always
yeah.
a good start.
Yeah, and I think I'm really excited about
I'm
it.
excited about it too, and I love seeing Ian McShane get a new vehicle. Like,
Yeah.
he made Deadwood. I loved Deadwood, and it
I
was
can't even
mostly
repeat
because of
his
him.
lines, but yeah.
he swears a lot.
He swears a lot. Al Swearingen. So
Is that why his name was that?
I don't know.
Okay,
Kind
that
of
makes
put
more
that
sense.
finally together. So anyway, so it's going to be premiering April 30th, 2017. So coming up really soon.
I'm excited.
I am very excited about that as well. So American Gods, that's when coming up. Now, just a quick side note for Netflix. Of course, we all watch Netflix. There is a new system you're going to start seeing on your Netflix screen. I am
one
going to
threw me
say
for a little
this
bit
is
of a
Greg
loop.
says no.
Yeah,
but
Greg
it's
says no.
already happening. Ryan, maybe
Yeah.
if you want to explain what's going on here.
Well,
with
as a
Netflix.
reviewer, an audio reviewer, TV reviewer, I love reviewing stuff.
Uh-huh.
I like the 5-star system. I like saying, okay, 3 stars, it was okay. 4 stars, pretty good. Apparently, most people don't like that, or at least they weren't doing it. And I have to be honest, I haven't rated anything in a while either.
Yeah.
So Netflix decided they were going to throw out the 5-star system and go to the thumbs system.
Okay, so it's thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up or thumbs
Just
down.
a straight up yes,
Pandora
no.
style. Yep.
I don't like that. So that's what they're doing.
Well,
so you're
the
going to get rid of
idea
your
behind it
rating
is
system.
that no one was rating anymore. So they're like, make it easier. And they did tests on hundreds of thousands of Netflix
Yeah, but
users.
there's some things that I'm okay with that I don't think are 5-star that for me
Right.
personally, but I still don't want to say no. I never want to see a movie like that.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, the rating system's it's flawed anyway. I feel
Okay.
like, but I know what you're saying. I mean, we all hate change too. Anything that changes, we're
Greg
like,
says
what
no.
are you doing? That's
right.
not how I knew it was.
Okay.
But we'll see.
We fear change. All right.
We
so,
fear change.
So there we go. So Netflix is doing that. A couple other things here before we wrap up for the day, and I do see some more comments coming through too for 80s and 90s movies that you think should be rebooted. So we'll get to those as well. But Saturday Night Live. Let's talk about that for a second.
They are having the run almost
Huge.
of its lifetime.
Huge
And I have to say,
year.
before we get into this, like, I am just, since I was 12, always been an SNL fan.
Same here,
And
yeah.
especially since streaming came in, I hardly miss it.
Yeah.
Love the music. Some of the cast, the cast always has to rebuild, and it's kind of crappy at 1st, and you have to watch their growing pains, and then they start to gel, and it gets better and better. It's always been a part, of my repertoire or whatever, my watching, list. It's always at the top of my list. I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's not that popular for even years at a time, but it keeps going. And here it is, as popular as it's been in 25 years.
in its 42nd year that it's in right now. I think 42nd season. And I mean, this year, obviously, with Alec Baldwin and Melissa McCarthy playing Trump and Spicer,
Yeah.
it's been getting huge ratings because it's just funny.
It's catharsis
It's
for the
really
nation
funny.
as well.
Yeah.
Or for
A lot of
part of the nation.
Yeah. And the news with this, since they're getting some of their best ratings in years, they are going to do something for the very first time to round out the end of this season in, it's the April and May is when the last 4 episodes of the season will air. They're going to air them live across the country. That's never happened before. East Coast, you're used to getting it live. Here on the West Coast, which is where we're at, we always get the 3-hour delayed version. But now they're going to air it 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to air live across the country, which I've never seen it live, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, in fact, when I grew up, we had it at 10:30. I don't know why. We were in Mountain Time, and nobody cares about Mountain Time anyway.
Yeah, that's one of those flyover states.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a really interesting idea. I think the main theme here is that they're moving into prime time, because not only that, they're also going. We also found out this week they're going to spin off the Weekend Update for 4 episodes, I believe, in the summer.
August.
Yeah,
August.
during prime time. So they're gonna be airing those in prime time a little earlier than usual, and
yeah, full half-hour specials of just Weekend Update
with Michael Che and Colin Jost.
Yep. Yeah, and it's going to be on Thursdays, so that'll be interesting to see if they can pull that off for their own half-hour special.
Yeah, and we should say the hosts for those last 4 that are going to be live, the episodes that are actually going to be live coast to coast, are going to be Jimmy Fallon, Chris Pine, Melissa McCarthy, of course.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna.
And Dwayne Johnson. So those are really good guests lined up. That's
I'm
a
gonna
nice
guess
lineup.
either Melissa McCarthy or Dwayne Johnson are going to get them the best ratings they've ever had.
Yeah, I'd say Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, that's going to be fun.
So there we go. That's some Saturday Night Live news. A couple of other things here just to wrap up this week, and just to revisit too as well for movies that should be rebooted. Another vote for Short Circuit. Johnny Five is alive.
Okay,
I want to get the voice act. I want to get the VO job. Deja says Little Monsters, and let's see, and then Hard Bodies, and then the Kardashians should be
Hard Bodies.
The Toxic Avenger. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
I could see Trauma.
that's
I could see Trauma doing another one of those.
That's a mess.
All right, so a couple final things here that you can watch right now that just came out, and I've been looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch it. Is Iron Fist. Iron Fist, the 4th Defender, out this weekend, out today.
I feel like it's such a jump on the boat with these movies or with these shows. You know, everybody decided to jump on Daredevil. I thought Daredevil was really good. No one ever seems to talk about the fact that the main guy, Charlie Cox, doesn't have a very good American accent.
No, it's kind of a bad American accent.
So they all have their flaws, but everybody's jumping on the ship here that Iron Fist is not good.
Yeah,
that seems to be And our guy Rick Marshall liked it okay. He got the first 6 episodes under embargo, so he got to check it out before all of us. And, he just said it was a little too character-driven, and it never had its sort of action point where the character becomes the hero.
Okay.
And he's hoping that's going to happen in the next 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But here they are out, and
yeah, not getting great reviews. I will watch it. I'll watch a lot of it this
Yeah.
weekend. I guarantee I'll get through at least 5 or 6 episodes this weekend, just because I love everything they've done
you
so
throw
far.
those things down.
Yeah, I mean, well, Luke Cage was really hard not to binge watch.
I know,
for me.
it really was.
So we'll see if if Iron Fist is. But this is the last one of the Defenders. The next series they'll have in it will be the Defenders and also the Punisher.
Well, and the interesting question here as well is all of the series, I believe Luke Cage has, if it hasn't, I'm sure it will, got a second run. And since this is the only one that isn't like a huge hit, I wonder if Iron Fist is just going to not get a second season.
We'll see.
That should be interesting.
Well, the final thing here, actually, I've got one little thing at the very end, but the final thing really is Netflix did confirm Masters of None Season 2. It's coming out soon. Aziz Ansari posted a 15-second teaser kind of showing him and Eric from Tim and Eric, who's also the co-star of the show, riding around on scooters.
That's awesome.
So if you liked the first one, I liked it. I thought it was
it's
really
funny.
great. Yeah, it was a funny show. Master of None, not Masters of None.
You're thinking Masters of the Universe.
I'm thinking Masters
which
of
is
Sex,
He-Man. Oh,
which
okay.
was the other. Yeah,
Well,
Master
I just go
of
straight
None.
to He-Man.
Yep,
that's my thing.
That's you. No, that makes better sense. So, Master of None, Season 2, going to be coming out. Final thing I did want to bring up here real quick before we wrap up. If you are a fan of The Leftovers, if you watched The Leftovers on HBO, the final season is coming out pretty soon. HBO just released another trailer for this final season. It makes it look amazing, but I warn you, and the reason we're not going to play it and go into it too much is if you haven't watched The Leftovers at all, or if you're planning to at some point in the future start it, don't watch this trailer because it could potentially spoil the entire series. They reveal a bunch in this trailer.
So would you say, Greg, that don't spoil The Leftovers?
Oh,
Is that what you?
my God.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Did I ruin the show?
I did just throw that out there, though. That was pretty good. You had to do that.
It came to me. I was just like, I got to do it. I want to say one more thing. We won't go out on that note. I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh, no.
I hope I didn't ruin anybody's weekend. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Apparently, we don't have the luck of the Irish in the office because the keg blew. So
We're out of
that's
beer.
why we don't have a beer for this
Yeah.
episode. But I promise you, next episode, we're going to have a beer. Maybe 2. We'll get
Maybe
half
2.
drunk.
Wow. All right.
Just to make up for it.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah, that too.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. So this is Between the Streams, our weekly podcast where we talk about entertainment, movies, television. We have an audio version available on iTunes and Stitcher, wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe to that, and then you just get us downloaded right there. Send us comments, podcast@digitaltrends.com. We still have comments coming in about the movies. Weekend at Bernie's. Okay.
Weekend
I
at
could go with that.
Bernie's.
I could go
Oh my
along
God.
those lines. Firefly, maybe 2 new for that. Hobbit the cartoon. All right. I could see.
Yeah, I'd
I'm
be
sure
okay
we're
with
gonna
The
get
Hobbit down the line because they ruined it so bad. I'd be okay with them rebooting The Hobbit. That's
Okay.
That could use some help.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And Mutation on YouTube. Gremlins, no. That's my answer for that one. All right, so thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in, though. Tune in every week live Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, where we are right here at digitaltrends.com, and check out all the articles that we have on the website about pretty much everything that we've talked about today. So thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week with another episode.
Happy St. Patty's.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Stay safe.
That was a really bad attempt at an Irish accent there. Happy St. Patty's.